About time I put another video out. Really, because I was dropping a dog off today, and the household had some builders in, and just as I was leaving, I had a voice go, "Hey, Pete!" And I turned around and I vaguely recognised it. It was a student of mine from many, many years ago, and he came. He said, "I've been waiting to shake your hand for a long time." He said, "Sensei, I just want to thank you for giving me a backbone." And it's happened a few times, this, and it's so heartwarming when someone says that. He says, "I can't tell you how much it's helped me throughout my life," and it's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling, and a lot of students do this. And I laughed. I said, "It's fantastic," and we had a hug and we had a great chat about the old times. But I said to him, "Do you know what?" I said, "No one has ever thanked me for the lapel grip I taught them." It's just always about the mind and how the strength of the martial way has helped them in their life, and. It's a warming thing, and it got me to thinking about when I came back teaching and I tried to promote the mental side of it, and some people looked at me sideways, "What the hell is he going on about?" And the bottom line is, I would teach something and say, "Go away and do that for 3 months, come back and we'll do the next move, from there." And not many can do that, and it separates chaff from wheat, so to speak, because I knew who would go away and work on it. And I know those that just fall aside, and then of course the next session that we were due, they wouldn't turn up. So it's weird in a way, because the mental side is what martial arts is about. It's not about how physical you are. Yes, of course the physical thing's there, but without the mental attitude and the discipline inside here, it's never going to work. And I've said it time and time and time again. It promotes your own life. It's not about punching people on the nose. It helps you as a person. And when someone comes along right out the blue and just says thank you, and we shake hands and have a genuinely man hug, it's just lovely. And it got me to thinking about the mental side of it. And questions are always asked about Ronnie and how strong he was mentally and compared to Gary. They were chalk and cheese, Gary and Ronnie. There was totally different. Gary was a big man. Ronnie was a small man. So Ronnie had a more agitated mental side, because that's what he was. He was just all the time, whereas Gary could be a bit more relaxed with everything. But one thing about Ronnie, he pushed me so hard and set me traps and set me tests, and over a period of time, as I got a little bit more, shall we say, familiar with him, I said to him one day, "I've got your test, I want to try you out." And he looked at me, and you're never quite sure whether he'd say or he went, "And what's that?" And I said, "Well, can I tell you?" I said, "And I want to do it," because we did a lot of things together. He'd set me something he'd practiced, and they'd say, "Right, this is what we're going to do." I remember the one about the writing, right, taking hours to write one name or one word and things like that, and we sit opposite the table. So I've got a table test for us. He said, "Okay, let's have a look at it." I said, "No, I either do it or we don't," being cocky. He said, "Fair enough." So I'll have to change the camera angle here, and I'll explain about how it went out. But it was the one time I thought I had him. I didn't, and we both got on with it. But I really thought I'd get him with this, and it was great. So bear with me. Just let me change this camera angle. So we used to sit on tables. When you went to Ronnie's, you always went to the kitchen and you sat at a table. So I sat him down and said, "Right, we've got a piece of string here," and you had to do things in a grasshopper way. I'm going to try and keep within this thingy. Forgive me if you miss me hands. So he listened. He said, I said, "In the dojo, you go in the dojo, and if you related it to tying knots, like you're training, like bunkai or whatever, you tie a knot, put yourself in a knot, and then you tie it, and there's your test. So then you undo it in the dojo, which is what you do, bang, and you undo it again, bang, and there's your get outs or whatever." So the philosophy is, you tie a knot, put yourself in trouble, you're attacked, tie it, and then in the same mind, you stay relaxed, take your time, untie it, no mood, no pressure, untie it, and there it is, your dojo training. Knot, tie it, bump, undo it. As simple as that, with no emotional change, nothing. Don't get angry, don't get mad, just tie it and untie it. And he looked at me, he said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, so that's that end. The dojo, bump, put the knot on. There. Now, then the test becomes more severe when we are attacked outside, or as the people like to say it, on the street, where the knot becomes tight. And I tightened this knot, and I said, and then you've got to undo it with the same calm and collection as you did the dojo knot. And the two things are distinctly dissimilar. So what we have to do, we have to practice tying and untying in the dojo with a passive mind and easy, just be relaxed. But then we have to practice tying and untying in the street. So I've tied this knot and I've tightened it like this, and I gave it him. And it took him about, I don't know. Well, you can see it ain't easy, and your nails there, and you can start getting frustrated, not allowed to use anything, and you've got to work at it, but you've not to get angry, and you've not to get annoyed. Now I can spend, I don't know, I'll probably spend 10 minutes trying to get this sucker out, because it's tight. And so he liked it. Here we go. Picked it out, relax, chill, and the knot comes undone. But there are two different knots, two different mindsets. So what we did, we then tested each other. We cut the string in half and we put knots in. I tell you not, that I remember we tied it, and then we had a tug of war with it, and then we pulled it, and then we stretched it, then we wet it, and we got the knots like that, as tight as you can. And then we put our knots down, and I remember we did three in a row, and we sat there, and without a word of a lie, 2.5 hours later, I'd got one off, he hadn't got any off, right? And then I looked at him, and I went, oh, my second one's coming loose, and not a flicker from him. He just kept going. And you might laugh, and you can say whatever you want, but 4 hours later, we were sat with our knots untied, and neither of us got emotional about it. I did, because I was trying to prank him. So my emotion was more of a giggle, because for the first time, I'd set him a test, and I'd got my knots undone quicker than he did. Mainly because I had nails. He didn't. But he didn't rise. And everyone knows he had an evil side to him that was, when he switched on, it was awful. But the frustration of the knot, he didn't allow it to get to him. He didn't allow that frustration to get to him. Now this one here that I've just tightened, and I'll do it again. All right. This could take me an hour to get out that sucker, because you've got to work at it. But you have to sit there and you have to do it. So I might carry on with that, and I might not. But for now, I'm just going to pause the film. There we have it. Just so I'll show you both then, so you don't know I'm cocking. There we have it. The untied knots. There's the dojo knot. But yeah, and again, it's a grasshopper moment, because it's nothing to do with the knot at all, apart from the fact that it's the physical object you're working with. It's the mental attitude you get when trying to undo a knot that doesn't want to be undone. It's difficult, and your fingers start to go funny, your nails are splitting, and but you haven't to raise the attitude. You haven't got to get frustrated. You haven't got to do any of that. Oh, bloody hell, and throw it down. No, you've just got to sit there methodically and sort the problem. And that's the problem with martial arts in dojos today. They tie knots like that, and then they get out of them like that, and it makes no difference, because it's easy and it works and it's simple. And all of a sudden, one day they'll come across a knot that's tight, and by the hell, they take some shifting. But the mental attitude is not learnt how to cope with that tight knot, so they fail. And no matter how much you tell these people, they will continue to fail and poke and fart each other. And like I said, not one of my students has ever come forward and said, thank you for teaching me lapel grip. It's just never happened and never will. But a high percentage of people, we've shook hands over what we achieved together. It's not all about me, it's together, because you can say do A, B and C, and if that person isn't willing to do A, B and C, they fail. All the people that come back to me, I've looked them in the eye in training and I know they're going to give me all, and then I'll work with them. But anyone that I looked in the eye, I thought, nah, canker. I never bothered. I just taught them and that was it, but I didn't get emotionally involved with them. And I don't know. It's something like once a month I see an old student or so, and it's lovely to have a chat with them. And I know the good ones because they always come up and shake your hand. And today was one of those days. And you can't buy that. You just cannot buy it. And people say to me, oh, this, that and the other about martial arts. Sometimes it gives you something you forget. And then all of a sudden, a reminder comes in. And there it is today. Wonderful moment between two people who have shared something. And it was nice for both of us. So, yeah. So, out there, you dojo lads who like to poke and tie loose knots, you keep going. But I'm telling you now, the day that knot becomes that, you're fucked.